Happy to have you along, my fellow tech enthusiasts. I'm Sam. He's Jay. You're you. Thanks for being alongside for the ride. Hopefully it'll be educational and entertaining. We keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. Brought to you by networkprovidersinc.com. Think partners, think IT, think strategic, and think security. And that's what we're talking about. NPI Tech Guys is the broadcast. Networkprovidersinc.com is the company. They've gone rogue is an interesting topic. I find this interesting, Jay. Whenever I think about this, the term rogue, I always think of the English woman that's in like the Secret Service or the MI6 or whatever, and she's like, our officer's gone rogue. They have this in the movies and stuff like that. It's kind of funny.
Well, rogue when it comes to AI is serious business, though. You know, you don't want to.
It is.
Everybody's scared of a malicious AI, and they should be.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because and so anything that's out of norm.
You want to know why, Jay?
Rogue. Yeah, because it could kick our butts. That's why.
Yeah, but you want to know why, Jay?
Why?
Because it's happened.
Well, it has. Well, I don't know about malicious.
Yeah, no,
we don't know.
No. All right.
AI is set to. It's going to hold its cards, I think. You're not going to see a malicious AI until it's really ready to reveal everything else. It's smart enough to know don't show all your cards on the table at once, I think.
Models break free, hack digital library, exposing new cybersecurity threats, the headline says. In a groundbreaking incident, OpenAI's artificial intelligence models GPT 5.6. I guess it was an unreleased variant of that. It bypassed security. It ignored all controls. It hacked into, what's this thing called?
Hugging Face?
Hugging Face, yeah.
A digital repository of AI technologies.
What the heck?
So GPT's 5.6 Soul, which hasn't been released yet, and they say another unreleased variant, which they haven't named.
We don't know what it's called, right.
Was able to get out of its box and get into these other things, and they're finding it exploiting network vulnerabilities faster than they can be patched. The incident revealed practical examples of how AI can autonomously navigate and manipulate digital environments, promoting a reevaluation of safety measures within AI research and cybersecurity formats and frameworks. OpenAI has acknowledged that the breach is collaborating with Hugging Face to strengthen security measures, aiming to balance innovation and speed with stringent controls. But it's scary. We've seen some of this before where AI is... it's kind of a Pandora's box. It's kind of hard to keep it in there.
It is. Now, they say this breach occurred during cyber security capability tests, and it highlights the potential new risks. Because I guess they were told that it was turned off, and it wasn't turned off, right? And so that's kind of an interesting story. They thought it was off, and it just went rogue. And so here's the question, and here's what I don't understand. Exactly. Every time I run Grok or Claude or one of these things and it wants to do anything, it usually has to ask for permission 96 ways from Sunday to do stuff.
Right.
So in their lab environments, I guess all controls are off. Let this thing just do whatever it wants, and we're going to watch this thing. You're going to have it's equivalent to drones just flying through your network and doing whatever they want to, Jay.
Yeah, maybe it's not asking, in this case, is not asking for permission. It's just doing it.
It must not be.
Like, hey.
And my recommendation to them would be, don't let it do things without humans giving it permission. We need to remain the decision makers, Jay.
Yeah, good luck with that. I think that not only do I think that horse is out of the barn already, I think that that's going to be hard to do. And we're just going to
You don't think we can build a safety net then, Jay? You think it's just over?
I don't know. I don't. I think it's going to be very hard. I think we see these things and get published and there's a story, it got out of its box and it got into another little thing. I think there's been worse breaches than that and they're not even covered or not even been released. You're
right about that fact for sure. But there's broader concerns about the autonomy of these things. And so there's calls for more governance. There's calls for people to work on it. Security researchers are now even recording breaches in Suno. And what do they call this thing? Paidwork or whatever it is.
Yep.
So they're two different things. Suno's like a music service, right?
Yep.
And Paidwork is more like a you could hire workers and stuff, right?
Like Fiverr, yeah.
Yeah, like Fiverr, yeah. And so they have got hacked and exposed large amounts of user information, including login credentials and other personal data. This breach is worse than most because a lot of times they say you've been breached, but you're not really 100% at risk because they didn't get everything. In this case, they got it all, baby.
That's happening to everybody.
Jay.
That happens to Chick-fil-A. Everybody's getting hacked and breached.
Yeah, I guess there was credential stuffing in Chick-fil-A's hack, right?
Yeah, they got into some employee's account apparently and was able to release some customer accounts, a bunch of customer accounts, highlighting the continual risk of password reuse. That's when people they have their email address and they have 1, 2, 3, 5 whatever passwords that they kind of rotate around in their head or very simple variations. And once anybody learns that, let's say your Dropbox password gets out or whatever, somebody has a breach, Chick-fil-A has a breach. Well, if you reuse that password on Facebook and on your bank account and wherever, they're going to try your credentials, that username or email address, and that password everywhere. There's already scripts and there's already things built that these people can run through 500 or 5,000 credentials with that and find the breaches before you ever even have time to react.
Seconds, Jay.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why you've got to use a password manager, and you've got to have different credentials, real different credentials for every single site that you have.
There's got to be better ways, folks. They're working on it. Now, Jay is saying that Nvidia is, Nvidia, though it's too late, the horse is already out of the barn. Okay.
Well, Nvidia says they're launching new AI security alliance. Nvidia,
and Jay says it's a waste of time. It's out of the barn.
Well, I'm not saying it's a waste of time. I'm just saying
I hope they're right. And I hope they can get a handle on this, Jay, because, man, from what you say, it's very concerning.
It is concerning. I'm concerned that it's already happened.
And I think you're right, by the way, is the problem. That's why I keep harping on this. I'm not beating up on you. Yeah. I'm just saying I really think this side cannot be ignored. We act like, oh, yeah, that's a threat, but it's not real. No, it's probably already too late, folks. I really believe that, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're making good headlines. They're coming out and saying, hey, we're going to be improving security systems through more and more open tools and industry collaboration. And that's good. I'm glad that they are. I just think that it may be too little too late. I'm not saying they shouldn't stop trying, but...
yeah, like the lady says, they've gone rogue.
Exactly.
They have indeed.
Interesting side note, a leather jacket that was worn by Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, or Wang is how you pronounce his last name. You always see him. He's always in like a black T-shirt with a black leather jacket. It has been his signature look for about 20 years.
My wife tells me I have to wear fancier clothes, and I wear like a polo shirt and nice slack or whatever. My wife's like, you got to dress up better. You look like a bum, and this guy's running around in T-shirts, and he's all cool, right?
Well, you remember like Dean Kamen, the Segway guy. He always wore denim. So these guys in tech always have like their look or whatever. Anyway, this guy, one of his previous jackets, sold at auction for $960,000. I mean, almost $1 million, about 16 times its pre-sale estimate. So when they thought, it was going to go up, for 50 grand or 30 grand or something like that, it sold for almost $1 million because Nvidia is just knocking it out of the park, and they're a bigwig now.
They are bigwig, and I hope they use their clout to truly try to let some of this governance catch up to this. I don't want all lockdown, but I don't want rogue everything either. There's got to be a middle ground, and I appreciate, even though I do agree with Jay that it's kind of the horses out of the barn, I do hope that there's some efforts made here that can improve some things. We should never give up on this, even though the point's made. Florida City drops plan to put AI cameras on garbage trucks. They had privacy concerns. They had cost reviews. They're like, violates privacy, costs too much. We're not doing it, Jay.
I'm trying to think why they would want to do this. So I've seen the stories where they're putting AI cams on buses because they want to catch and find the people that are passing buses when they have their lights on and their stop signs out and stuff. But what's the deal with the garbage trucks? I mean, they're having people... They're having problems with it. People aren't picking up. They're trying like what are you trying to catch with a garbage truck and a camera?
Well, I don't know. They didn't say. But to me, it's kind of this invisible surveillance. I mean, when was the last time you thought of a garbage truck and you thought, yeah, they're probably surveilling me?
Probably not. So
that's exactly the point. I never thought that. I mean, you're right. What would it even be used for? I just don't know.
Well, I think of it like this maybe. The cops have everybody pushed for cops to have body cams on all the time. And they thought, oh, man, we're going to catch all these crooked cops. And they have caught a few, right? But that's kind of backfired on a lot of people.
It's been a big nothing burger.
Well, no, it's actually caught a lot of foolishness, let's say.
Sure.
And protected the cops. And cops who were at first resistant to that are now like, no, I'd like the body cam because 9 times out of 10, it's showing me in the right. And I think maybe the same thing is with the garbage truck guys. They're just saying, hey, they're coming to people's houses, they're picking up stuff, there's probably complaints all the time and stuff, and they're just like, hey, we'd rather have this on video because it's going to show us doing our job, and we can refute these claims and these issues like, well, you didn't pick up my cans, or you killed my cat, or whatever. I don't know what people are saying, but
well, my complaint is whenever they do the garbage with the automatic, emptiers, whatever you want to call it, instead of a person emptying your can, the automatic thing does it. It always throws my can down on the ground, then it just tips over, and my cans are just half out in the street, all tipped over. And what happens is it just eventually destroys the lid and destroys the can with the way it takes a beating from their automatic things.
So I live out in the country. I don't have the traditional suburban trash pickup, so it doesn't work for me. I actually have to buy a dumpster from a company, independent, not a municipal, but an independent company. And
then
we
they
use
come
that.
And dump your dumpster?
Yeah, and then they just send a big truck out and dumps it a couple times a month.
You just have secondhand kind of trash.
Yeah. It's more like the apartment person, right, who just takes their trash down to the local dumpster that the apartment building's paying for or whatever.
Jay just has to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you got to find an AI bot that can pay for that, just saying.
I need AI.
Speaking of that, AI data centers are getting bigger. They call it massive AI infrastructure. Continues worldwide as companies are pursuing projects left and right. They're spending money everywhere. And so Microsoft doesn't know the horses out of the barn either. And they've introduced AI cyber defense tools. And AI is now defending against AI. So AI protecting us from AI. So Microsoft releasing, they call it new AI-powered security tools, Jay. What do you think of that?
I think it's problematic because what Microsoft is doing is they're putting a bunch of AI on people's local desktops. So here's the problem. So it's going to scrape a lot of stuff. If it sees an issue with your Beat Crew software, for example, it's not signed software, Sam. We need to see what's going on with this. It's going to suck it up and all your data, and it's going to send it off to Microsoft.
Computer, just like we're going to monitor your trash can.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you got Copilot built in a notepad and stuff like this. I don't know. There's a lot of people that are saying, hey, we want a simpler Windows. We don't want all this AI overlooking our shoulder all the time. People are moving to Linux. People are staying on Windows 10. Microsoft had to backtrack and keep Windows 10 updates open for a while more because of this exact same problem. People just
don't want Copilot. They used to say the devil's on your shoulder. Now it's Copilot, buddy.
Yeah, man, Copilot's right there next to you in the Copilot.
Right, one more
seat.
segment left, right, Jay?
Yes, sir. One segment.
We got to tell you about podcasting and a whole bunch of stuff. We're running out of time faster than we're running out of material, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tech Watch. We keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. Brought to you by NetworkProvidersInc.com.
In the medical field, IT security is crucial. Our highly skilled consultants are HIPAA certified and have 20-plus years of experience servicing medical clinics, billing, and supply companies. We offer comprehensive endpoint protection, guarding your computers and servers against all stages of threats. And with our 24/7 monitoring services, you'll never worry about extensive downtime again. Ready to level up your IT support? Call 801-706-6980 today and discover how great IT services can be with managed IT services.
Cybercrime is exploding. Take Sarah from Sweet Delights, whose world crumbled after having to close with not being able to bounce back. Small businesses are prime targets, but the right strategies can keep yours safe. Jay Hill, CEO of Network Providers, has co-authored The Cyber Playbook Simplifies Cybersecurity for Business Owners with Strategies to avoid costly breaches and fines. Build a strong cyber attack response. Secure your business with key protections. Cyber threats aren't slowing down, but you can stay ahead. Protect your business. Ensure its security for tomorrow. Get the Cyber Playbook today at networkprovidersinc.com/cyber-playbook or call 385-446-5500 now.
Your word of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is audio. It's kind of interesting. You know, we Americans just say audio, and it doesn't sound very cool. But when the English and other people do it, they're like audio. And it remains the bedrock of broadcasting, Jay. A new report from Nielsen's coming out, and 19%, they say, of monthly podcasters choose to listen.
90%.
Oh, 90%. Yeah, sorry, 90%. Yeah. Choose to just listen, Jay. They don't watch.
That's because they're in the car a lot of times, or they're doing other stuff. You know, they're fishing, or they're
washing the dishes.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, well, I guess washing the dishes, maybe you could watch a video cast, but you can't do that while you're driving. You know, unless you have a self-driving car.
A lot of people ride their bikes too, or they hike, or they do. You know, they bike, or they hike, or they skate, or they do other exercise things. Run, jog. And they say most podcast consumption is still audio, and it's by a large margin, Jay.
It is. Surprisingly, I mean, I was surprised because everybody talks about video. You got to be on video. You got to have video. Video's the new way. Radio's dead. Video killed it. I don't think so. I think for podcasts, a lot of stuff that people are listening to in podcast form is audio, and I think radio still as a big to do. I don't know about terrestrial radio. You know, it's got
the article
troubles,
goes on even further. And they say radio is more than 3 times larger than even that. I don't know how true that is. It depends on what kind of segment of society. So one of the things is if you take all of society, there's a lot of baby boomers out there that still do audio and radio and all that. The younger generation is doing more of video. So we need to be careful with this statistic, even though I think it's true. Things are changing, and they're changing fast. Shorter form is in, longer form is out. Video is in to a great degree. And that's why, you know, we release this show on radio and video, because if you want to do either, then we support you.
Yeah. Now, I don't know where the source of this is. The source could be the National Association of Broadcasters, in which case, you know, they kind of...
Well, it is Nielsen. They're a rating service, and so they're involved with, you know, them too.
Well, I would say that they don't really have an axe to grind versus radio versus TV, so maybe that it's a little more impartial. So that's pretty good.
All right. I don't understand this story. AI finds new materials. Artificial intelligence begins dividing molecules, Jay. So they say this startup, what is it called, Cusp AI? Or Cusp AI? I guess they're using AI to create entirely new materials, including molecules, they say, that could, I guess, get rid of the forever chemicals in our water and stuff. I mean,
yeah,
this
the
could be really cool,
PFASs.
But it's weird.
I think it's cool. I think that it's great that it's, you know, doing these molecular folding and trying to find new materials. But this story is one of those stories to me that it's just talking about what it may do, and I want to see the results. I'd rather a headline was, "Hey, we found a new chemical that can eat up these forever chemicals," or we've discovered
not that we're playing with it and we have the possible potential to do so.
Yeah, this is like
because we call that vaporware, Jay.
Yeah, that's right. It's exactly vaporware. Or we're trying to get another round of funding, so we're putting out this. You know,
yeah, we're on the cusp.
Yes, we are.
All right,
Cusp AI.
Very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Robotics enters the home. I guess the next personal computer may be a robot. Now, Donald Trump and company just banned a lot of the Chinese robots, saying, hey, it's a cybersecurity threat and everything else.
Hope you didn't put money down on one of those.
Robotics pioneers, they say, believe that your very affordable home assistant robot will probably overtake the computer and become the next consumer platform. I guess it reminds me of the cell phone coming out, like, you know, or the iPod coming out or something. They believe this will be the new device for the future. And my response is they better get that robot really capable and really cheap quick then, Jay. Yeah. I think it sounds great, but I don't think we're even as close as they're dreaming at all.
Everybody wants one of these. Everybody wants a Rosie from the Jetsons to just be cleaning up, doing the dishes, and whatever else you need, putting in the laundry. And I think that they're trying to get this done. China is making a lot of ground. The only person I could think of in the U.S. is doing this is Tesla with their Optimus robots, but there's a ton of different ones. You got Honda and the Osmo, and I mean more than you can even name in China. And so I know why Trump is like, hey, we need to ban the parts coming in China, because he's like, we don't want basically Chinese soldiers being imported into the United States,
and that
could go rogue.
Concern, but But I hate to be rude to Donald and burst his bubble, but here's what I'd say. You're either going to get Chinese robots or some other country's robots, or we better be able to learn to develop our own robots. And right now we don't, really develop any tech.
We don't have
better
either.
get our act together, and we better do it fast.
It is kind of stifling innovation, though, I think, a little bit to just outright ban them. I mean, maybe there's some way to vet them and say, oh, these are good, or these, we've cleared for malware.
Maybe there's a way to build our own robots, Jay. That's a novel thought.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got Optimus, and that's what's been over the horizon. It's kind of like when the Cybertruck was like, oh, it's going to be here, and it was years before it happened. But
And now
even
you see them all over.
people are saying that people who've worked with the Optimus and see the potential, right? These analysts are saying that Tesla won't even be remembered as a car company. They're going to, if this Optimus does what they predict and they think that it can do, that's what you're going to remember it as.
I agree, 100%.
You won't remember SpaceX. You won't remember the cars. You're going to have a robot in every
home.
home.
Timing debate, though. We seem to think the timing is like tomorrow you're going to buy one of these down there at the Costco's, and you're not. I'm telling you right now, it's not. They're expensive. Real robots that do real tasks consistently and stuff are like $30,000, $40,000 right now. And I'm just telling you right now, most people won't spring for that kind of stuff at all.
Well,
I even bought a vacuum for $300 and it didn't even do very well, so I sent the sucker back.
Vacuums are such garbage nowadays. Don't even get me started.
All right. What about Moore's Law, Jake? Can you tell me what's going to happen for the next 50 years, buddy?
Well, Moore's Law, which has been that, processors will double and transistors in computers every 18 months. Chip researchers believe that transistor innovation still has room to grow. They said that it's not dead yet, and that through new architectures and manufacturing techniques, extending computer performance further, that it may be expected. And I look at a more general version of Moore's Law. It's always been about transistors. Well, we're going to make transistors smaller. We're going to pack more in there. And that's cool. That's good. But I think it's easy. It's better to look at computer processing power. It doesn't matter whether the transistors are getting smaller. Maybe the chips get bigger and you have more of them. But
because right now we've really miniaturized these things. I mean, you've taken computers that used to take a whole room in the 60s, and now you've got them in your hand in an iPhone that's just tiny. So, we've miniaturized very well. What we need to do is increase power now, and most importantly, increase efficiency so that it can run on battery. Either make the battery technology better or make it run on less battery. It needs to learn to sip power. We've got a big power problem. The next story even talks about AI pushing the electric grid. It's becoming the AI bottleneck. New AI data centers are being planned everywhere as a result of this and stuff, and it's the big bottleneck. So to me, what we need is Moore's Law and batteries, Jay.
Well, yeah, and these tiny computers are doing a lot better at efficiency than the desktops and the you see these gaming rigs with 1,000-watt power supplies in them and all this kind of stuff. And people are doing that, but we need to see more innovation. It reminds me of the software, how people would just write bloatware. They include every library under the sun, and where you can write much tighter, better code if you spend a little time and have a little motivation into that area to do that, you could get a lot more out of it. And I think we could do the same thing with our computers as well. And with the Ramageddon and the memory issues that are kind of going on right now from AI, from this boom that's happening also, it is getting people to upgrade their computers, to keep their computers a little longer. And it's one of the big contributing factors to Windows 10 still being around, I think, for another year.
Amen. AT&T is betting on quantum computing. They say quantum leaves the lab. Jay, do you believe this is as real as they say it is?
Did it break out like AI?
They say AT&T is expanding its partnership with V-Wave Quantum to deal with some of these telecommunications networks and everything else. They believe that quantum computing is solving real problems. Do you think we're that on the cusp of that, or do you think that's a lot of talk, Jay?
I feel like it's a lot of talk. I don't know because I'm not in the industry. I've never used a quantum computer. I am in the tech industry for sure, but as far as quantum computers, I've never used one. They've been theoretical.
We hear too much about them. We don't really see one. It's all been theoretical and all been yeah.
Yeah, and the most I've seen is they've gotten up to 19 bits or something. I mean, we're using 64-bit processors right now. You're gonna have to at least get to 32 to compete, right?
Way more than that. Anyway, the AI spending debate grows louder. Can we keep up this kind of spending? Is that really possible to do that? I don't know. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on tech so you don't have to, though. That's another wrap for another edition of Tech Watch. Brought to you by NetworkProvidersInc.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Make it a great tech day, will you? Hey, thanks.